Hey guys, what's up? iPenguinPat here, and today we're going to talk about the 2021 winter event. Now, this event has not changed much since last year, and in fact, it's basically the same. You're still dealing with the same 18 presents, 18 gifts, and those 18 gifts come with a group of random prizes, one of which includes the daily special, as well as having the ability to get the show 2, times 2, and shuffle. Each one of those, in addition to giving you a little boost, gives you some stars back. So the amount of raw stars that you start with isn't the amount that you'll have at the end. By the end, you will have significantly more. Additionally, we do have the daily prize swap this year, which we didn't have last year. So I'm glad that NO brought that back. And we have the reindeer, which I'll show you in a second. And then we have the matchsticks, which is the standard thing, just like the summer event where you are just you get 1 through 3 and you try to go 20 advances to get a grand prize. So nothing special there, no big surprise. Let's look at the reindeer real quick, just because that it has the potential of being interesting. Basically, the idea is each time you get a daily prize, you get one reindeer prize as well, and you can get all the way up to 9, and you can buy this for 3,000 diamonds. Now, generally speaking, that's probably not going to be a great deal. However, if you end up getting 3 of these 9 prizes that are actually good, then this is a good value. Anytime you can get 3 daily specials for 3,000 diamonds, or basically 1,000 diamonds per daily special, that's a pretty good deal. Anything less than that, it's not worth going for. So just some food for thought if you are wondering about the reindeer collection. Now, the other thing that we also have this year, just like last year, is the winter calendar. And I am not a fan of the winter calendar. I just don't like the calendars in general. I feel like they just clog up things and make it unnecessarily difficult. And unlike things like the archaeology event or the Halloween event, this winter calendar cannot be done for free at all. It's just not possible. And odds are you will spend a small fortune trying to get all of the pieces of the calendar, unless you're already spending a fortune anyway. So I would say do not worry about targeting the winter calendar and the prizes on it. I mean, definitely with your wild card options where you can kind of pick the day instead of being forced on which day to pick, make sure that you pick the best prizes. There's going to be some rush kits, there's going to be some upgrade kits, but generally speaking, the prizes here aren't worth spending diamonds on, and this is something that is really just a sideshow, not much to look at. So, with all that said, let's talk about the more exciting part of this event, which is going to be the new buildings, the new prizes. Now, just to go over it real quick, there is a new train car that adds to the train from the previous years, and this adds defense for an attacking army. It makes sense that they would add this. It's only 5% for 6 squares, so as a general statement, this isn't a very good addition. We really want to see at least 1% per square for defense with an asterisk. And that is, if you are a brand new player and you are in the earlier ages, this 5% is 5% whether you are in Iron Age or whether you are in Venus. So there is a little bit of benefit in that sense. With that said, this isn't worth going for. Definitely go for the other prizes there. Now, the other thing that we got were the Canal, this winter Canal. So let's have a look and see what this prize has in store for us. Now, the Festive Canal is the defense flavor, or this particular prize, and we get a whopping total of 30 defense for 24 squares, which is okay. Obviously defense isn't as strong as the attack, so there's going to be a little bit more than you get for the attack version, which only gives you 24 attack for 24 squares. That's a 1%. And that is really about the bare minimum of what a Space Age Venus player, and really anyone who's like Sam or above, really should be looking at. And even as far down as Future, you really want to be looking at about 1% per square for the attack and for the defense. Also of note is that this building does give a little bit less forge points for the attack variant versus the defense variant. It's only 3. It's not that big of a deal. Obviously, the 12 is a little bit better if you have a blue galaxy and you need those extra collections. But that really shouldn't be the determining factor on how you pick between the two. We'll look at these a little bit more later. So the other thing to look at is what sort of daily prizes are in the pool. Now keep in mind that the daily prizes that are in this pool came from beta, and we know that this doesn't necessarily mean this is what's going to show up on live. This gives us a pretty good idea, like a 97% likelihood of this is what we're going to get, but there is a chance that we're going to go off track of this. Fortunately, there's nothing here that's really unusual or unexpected, so I think this is a pretty trustworthy list. Here we see we have the winter bakeries, and we'll look at the Spreadsheet of Madness in a minute. Those fall a little bit short of some of these other events, or excuse me, some of these other prizes. I definitely wouldn't target them. However, if you've ended up being like one or two upgrades short then from last year, then maybe you target that. The Winter Spire has been power crept to death. It's not worth having. Obviously, Rogue Shrink Hideout Kit is niche. If you're just getting started, it can be helpful, but more advanced players have those piled up. Sentinel Outpost, we have level 1 and the upgrade, so that's always a good option. The Winter Train Selection Kit does come up, and it appears to come up at least twice during this event. That is extremely good. That is actually going to be the best prize in this event, except for maybe the Sentinel Outpost. So that's just something to keep in mind. And it looks like the Sentinel Outpost is going to come up more than once, so that's also a nice thing. Here we see that the Winter Train Car Selection Kit is also another piece here. And do not make the mistake of going for the car selection kit instead of the train selection kit. It's a really easy mistake to make, and the reality is that the train cars are not as efficient as the actual train itself, so you really want to be going for the train or for the Sentinel Outpost. The other really big thing this event is that we have wishing wells in the event again, or at least they did on beta. So that is really big because we've gone several events without seeing wishing wells, almost half a year without seeing them. I mean, we got them for the Halloween event, but that event sucks for daily specials anyway. This event, we're looking at actually being able to get a pretty significant amount of wishing wells potentially. So definitely want to do this event for your secondary worlds. All right, so a quick consultation of the Spreadsheet of Madness. And I will point out that we have added one new thing to the spreadsheet since you have last seen it. We added a weighted attack for attacking army, attack for defensive army per square. And basically all I did was I lowered the percentage value that you get for defense for attacking army. And the reason why is because attack for attacking army is actually the better stat. And if you look at historically at all the event buildings, you will see that you always have slightly less attack per square than you get defense per square for these buildings. And in fact, with the normalized value, you can see that the defense or attack per square is actually the same for the Festive and the Jolie Canals. So it's just something to keep in mind. At first glance, it looks like the Festive Canal is hands down better because you get 12 forge points, so it's a little bit more forge points, and you get 30 defense for your attacking army, so that's more than the 24. But attack is just a better stat. Okay, that's just the bottom line. I'll make a whole nother video about it another time, but trust me, you want to be aiming for about 3 attack for every 2 defense, and if you're not in that range, then you want to pick whichever of these buildings will get you closer to that ratio. Now, as I mentioned before, the Charcoal Express is crazy. Keep in mind that this is actually a 2-year-old building. That's how good this building was when it came out. It was it may have been the best building in the game when it came out, and it has stayed strong this whole time. You're still looking at better than 1 attack per square, which is obviously excellent. It's only 21 squares, and you get 22 attack, and on top of that, it's a rectangle building instead of square, so it actually has less road contact than some of these other buildings that are square, which also gives it a nice little boost. So the last thing to keep in mind with this one is that it only requires 9 upgrades instead of 10 like some of these other buildings. So again, just another reason why the Charcoal Express is probably going to be the best daily option for you, unless you're going for the Sentinel Outpost and the Sentinel Outpost upgrades. So now that you know what prizes you can win, you might be wondering, can I get a fully upgraded winter canal without spending diamonds? And can I get a fully upgraded train without spending diamonds? How many daily specials can I expect to get? Earlier, I mentioned that the amount of stars that you earn from quests and whatnot don't necessarily reflect the total number of stars that you will end up spending throughout the event, because you get shuffles and you get reveal twos and you get the double ups and you get all these things to make it so that you end up getting more stars than you started with. And our good buddy and brilliant developer, programmer, mathematician guy, Mooing Cat, wrote a really fancy script that simulated the spending of 1355 stars. And what he was able to figure out in these 10,000 simulations is that if you start with 100 raw stars, you will end up netting an additional 38 stars per 100. So that means that basically 100 raw stars is equal to 138 net stars. Now let's scale that up to the 1355 that you get from doing the quest and just doing the event like a normal player would. Well, by the end of the event, by the end of all of this madness of present opening and childish antics, you end up with 1870 net stars. Now, obviously, this is an estimate. It will vary from player to player, but this is on average. So let's keep moving from there. And we'll come back to Moo's really fancy simulation later, because he has a second part to that that's also extremely helpful. So with that said, we know that each match, which means each present that we opened, advances us 2 times. And really, a long story short, it's going to take 100 net stars per grand prize. That's really the bottom line here. So we know that we're going to end up with a little over, actually we're going to get almost all the way to 19 total grand prizes, which means that we're going to have 9 upgrades for the Winter Canal. Plus we have the 3 pieces that we get from doing the quest line. And then if you were here for the last event, then you also have the mystery chest, which means we're going to be starting out with 13 of this Winter Canal pieces just right off the bat. That means it should be a piece of cake to get a fully upgraded Winter Canal. Now getting that second Winter Canal, that's a little bit different. Now, one thing that works to our favor is that we are already 3/4 of the way to that next grand prize, and that 19th grand prize happens to be an upgrade. So that means that we'll need about 60 more stars to go ahead and get to that 19th grand prize, and that will get us our 14th upgrade or item. From there, we're going to need 6 more, and those 6 upgrades are going to require 12 grand prizes, which means that we're going to need 1,260 stars. That is the 1,200 that you need for the additional upgrades, and then the 60 that you need from that leftover from the original prize. So that means we need about a little over 900 raw stars, and based on the diamond cost, if you were buying 100 stars at a time, you're looking at about 9,600 diamonds in order to get a second fully upgraded Winter Canal. So just something to keep in mind. Now, say you're in the market for a third Winter Canal, or even more than that. Here you can see that adding those 10 additional upgrades means that you need 32 grand prizes, and that's going to bump the diamond cost up a little over 15,000. I would actually plan for 15,500 or 16,000 for each additional canal after the second one. So basically, the second one's going to cost you about 10, and then each additional one after that's going to cost you about 16. Roughly. So with that said, let's look at the daily specials and how many daily specials you can get from this event for free, and how many you'll get if you do decide to throw down some diamonds for this event. Going back to Moo's simulation, here we can see the distribution of the number of expected daily specials that you will get from spending 1,355 stars. And this is also kind of a good reminder if you end up getting kind of a bunk run this event, that statistically that does happen some, right? Like last event, I went for the trains and I only ended up getting 8 of the trains. I didn't actually get all 9 upgrades. It was kind of depressing, except my wife ended up getting, I think she ended up with like 19 or 20 daily prizes. So we kind of offset each other. It was a mess. Nevertheless, I would say that it's a safe bet to plan for between 11 and 12 daily specials based on this distribution, it really, we just don't know what it's going to be because that's just how statistics and probability are. But if you plan for 11 or 12, that's a pretty safe bet. So with that said, I did some quick crunching just to kind of see where that ends up putting us. And the star count that was used in Moo's simulation here, this is based off of the raw, not the net and after and whatnot. So here we have, if we ended up with 12 daily specials, and this one is if we ended up with 11 daily specials based off of the 1355 raw stars spent. And that tells us that we are going to spend between about 110 and we'll call it 125 stars per daily special, which puts us around 1,200 to 1,300 diamonds per daily special. Now, that's not really a horrible price. Like, I consider 1,200 to be about par for the course for daily specials. So this is a reasonable cost for daily specials for this event. Now, based off of that, we just wanted to know, hey, how many daily specials could we expect to get if we're going for that second fully upgraded winter canal? And it looks like we should plan to get another 7 or 8 daily specials, which means that even with a little bit of bad luck, we're still looking at being able to get 2 fully upgraded trains and 2 fully upgraded winter canals for about 9,500 diamonds. Now, if you want to bump up to that next number, then we're looking at 23 to 25 daily specials. And at that point, it starts to get a little bit hairy because that's not enough to fully upgrade your train, right? So you would still have to make up that difference somewhere else. Oops, I'm sorry, this should be 16. So, and actually, at that point, it looks roughly like each winter canal that you get, if your luck is normal, you should be able to get 1 additional winter train as well. So, food for thought. 15,000 diamonds gets you a winter train and a winter canal. All right, guys, for those of you wondering, I will go ahead and put a link to this spreadsheet that I'm using in the description and possibly in a pinned comment. If you want access to it, just duplicate it, do file, make a copy, and then you can edit the numbers all you like. And I'm also linking to Mooing Cat's post where you can see exactly how he came up with that. Seriously, mad kudos. If seeing this doesn't get you excited about programming and math, I don't know what will. And with that said, if you found this video to be helpful at all, please like, subscribe, share, join the Discord, do all the stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video.